Hello and welcome to Brotakus, the anime podcast where we get together and discuss all things anime and manga. I'm your host, Chris, and I'm joined with my good friends, Matt.
And Chrisio.
And Chrisio. Chrisio's back.
And I am taking full-fledged in this name, Chrisio, now.
Yeah, he's embraced it. Now,
here's the thing. Can you feel my heartbeat?
I'm tired of feeling never enough, Matt. Tired of feeling never enough.
What happens when you see me dancing on these blades?
Does it set your heart on fire?
In contrary to how we're starting this is not a Yuri on Ice piece.
It's not. It's not. Now, what we're doing today, we're actually going to sit down and have kind of an odd discussion for Brotakus. We're going to be discussing live-action Naruto movie that's coming at some point, apparently.
Yep.
We have no real
information
other than that it's legit.
Yeah, it's just been announced.
Yeah.
They've done a little bit of casting. I've seen some photos of people they've casted.
Right. I actually haven't looked up any of that. Just the preliminary,
Google search.
Yeah, the Google search.
Yeah, they all look fine.
I don't know. Is this going to be the Hollywood adaptation, or is Japan doing an adaptation?
The one I was looking at was a Hollywood adaptation. That's the one that was announced by Shonen Jump.
Oh, okay, cool.
So
yeah, I knew Hollywood had an adaptation in the works.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Well, then they're casting it based off the cast photos I've seen. They're casting actual Asian people.
Yeah,
which is good.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Which is good.
Yeah,
don't have to hear about the whitewashing of
Naruto.
Naruto, yeah. No, they're getting whitewashed.
Ghost in the Shell was fine, people. Get over it.
No, Ghost in the Shell was, honestly, I thought it was brilliant.
Well, I mean, we saw it together. It was amazing.
Yeah. I think it was just too smart for the mainstream is what it was.
Speaking of which, real quick, do you like Kingsman, Underwood?
I do love Kingsman.
Do you want to go see Kingsman 2 in theaters?
I mean, you had me at, do you want to go see Kingsman?
Yes.
I mean, fuck it, I'll go.
Yes. Because I want to see that. There's
I'm still not sure how I feel about the Kingsman. But I'm going to go ahead and give it a fucking second chance. Cause
You know me. I like the spy genre. I love James Bond, so.
Yeah, that's true.
I just wish you motherfuckers would have told me it was a comedy, sort of, going into that shit. Because I was thoroughly expecting, legit serious film.
Right.
And then, heads start exploding and people are throwing up and just McDonald's and...
Anal sex.
I was not expecting it to be a comedy film, actually, going in.
I didn't know what to expect. It was just one of those things that was on HBO several years ago.
Yeah.
It was on HBO Now, and Game of Thrones was on, at the time it was HBO Go. HBO Now wasn't even out, I don't think.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll watch this, because I thought it was that movie with Henry Cavill, the man from U.N.C.L.E. That's what I thought it was whenever I first clicked on it.
What is that movie?
Huh?
What is that movie?
The Men from U.N.C.L.E.? It's Henry Cavill, and I forget what the other dude's name is.
You see Superman play a spy, basically.
And there's a spy from Russia, one's a spy from America, and they're working together extensively.
Yeah, what is that movie called, though?
Men from U.N.C.L.E.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's based off a TV show, I want to say, from the 60s?
Possibly. I'm not
That
sure.
might be, honestly, what I was thinking Kingsman was also.
That's what I was thinking it was. I was like, okay, whatever. And then I clicked on it, and of course, they don't have the poster. They just have a little screen grab, and I was like, well, that's not Henry Cavill, but maybe that's the bad guy or the other dude. Armie Hammer. I don't know who Armie Hammer was at the time.
Right.
So I was like, maybe it's Armie Hammer or whatever. So I was like, I'll click on it. And then it started playing. And they were British, and I was just like, that makes sense. Henry Cavill's British.
You're really, justifying it in your head.
And then it wasn't that. Then it turned out to be Kingsman, but then I loved it because the church fight scene was incredible. And then it was just kind of like a fun little romp. Yeah. So many movies now are just so serious and so dark and so gritty and so, and it's just dumb rompiness.
See, that's what I was expecting going in, was a dark, serious film, and I was very much mistaken.
Yeah.
I like dark, serious films all the time, but sometimes it's nice just to have that. Let's sit back, have fun with a nice little goofy movie that's actually very smartly written.
Yeah.
Which Kingsman was that.
It was very much like Austin Powers meets Tarantino.
Oh, very much. Very much so. And the thing that I love is that that dude was very clearly shot in the head. But he's alive somehow in 2. They showed in the first trailer that the dude's alive. Lancelot.
Lancelot?
Yeah, he's alive. But it's Kingsman, and because they're ridiculous, they can get away with whatever. So I'm assuming he's I had a special crevasse made in my brain that allows bullets to funnel through it or something like that.
Or a clone.
Or a clone. Yeah. Really a clone?
Or anyways, no, this is the clone.
Let's actually get into the Naruto thing.
Yeah. We've really sidetracked. But kind of what we wanted to do today was actually theorize on how we would basically do a live action Naruto film.
Yeah.
It's going to be first series, so it's not Shippuden or any of that.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's not the 100 episodes of filler.
Yeah.
No, hopefully not.
Yeah.
So,
And hopefully it's not just a spin-off like one of the original like anime movies.
now we're going to go with an assumption of a long form film, 3
Yeah.
hours. We'll say,
Or possibly a split film.
a split.
Which even at 2.5 hour movies,
Yeah.
we'll say a minimum of 2 hours, a maximum of probably 2.5 hours.
I would say it would probably cover the same amount of ground too, with having to recap for the second movie for the first movie. I would say it would cover the same amount of ground as well. But you get double box office, baby.
Yeah.
Double box office. So first thing first, I'm the realist. Second thing second. So the first thing that happens in Naruto is the whole him learning the shadow clone
Yeah.
stuff.
Honestly, I feel that they'll leave out a lot of the like early like classroom shit, and you'll just kind of get like a little like brief like montage of people shit talking because he can't do ninja. He can't ninja.
I feel the best way to deal with that is actually have it go over the intro credits.
Well, the way I would do it is I would show Naruto like vandalizing or whatever, doing his thing or whatever, and then he gets brought to before Aruka.
Yeah.
And Aruka like gives him like a punishment or something like that, and then somebody's like the person that brought him over there is just like, the hell's wrong with this kid, and then Aruka can just knock it all out right there as exposition, just being like like dude starts shit talking him, and he's just like, "Fuck you."
Or it could
You don't
start
know
out
what
all
that kid's
that's
gone
already
through.
happened,
Yeah.
like it's post like the incident at the beginning, and Iruka's telling the story, like trying to like talk some sense into Naruto, basically.
That's actually a really good way to pull it out. Is that Aruka narrate the story?
Yeah. You get that little setup with Iruka at the beginning, and then Iruka's just narrating a little bit, kind of back and forth, almost like a flashback, but narrated.
So I feel like that because that particular story arc, you don't really need to know a whole lot about it. I mean,
Right.
the only thing that really happens is dude gets Naruto to steal a scroll, and then he just steals
The
scroll,
extent
and
that
then,
you
like,
need to
that's
know
it.
is that it happened.
Yeah.
You don't really need to like go super in depth with it. It doesn't
Like,
need
really,
to be
it's-
30 minutes of the movie.
Really, that was just more exposition to get you like into the world and understand what's happening.
Yeah.
The key points that happened before the Team 7 arc with Zabuza and all that was that Naruto did find out he has the Nine-Tailed Fox.
Yeah.
The fact that Iruka does look at Naruto as a parent-child bond there.
Yeah. Or almost like a little brother bond, kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of a blend of the two.
And then Konohamaru showing up. Which,
Yeah.
Well, you
I mean,
don't-
that could just be easily explained later on. It's like, hey, this is just someone who followed me because I'm cool.
what you don't know is that it's not a brotherly bond. Aruka is crushing on Naruto super hard. Is just waiting for him to turn into a dope adult. So he can fuck him. I read that on a manga online. I thought it was the mainstream Naruto manga. It could have been something else. I don't know.
But from there, I think we'd get to the Team 7 bit where they're forming the team, going to the first mission kind of deal.
And
Yeah.
that's something I really feel that should just be able to be done over like montage, other than the training with the bell.
I feel like the
Which
training with
they
the bell is
should-
going to take too much of the movie's time is the problem.
Yeah, they shouldn't adapt the training for the bell. They should adapt the idea from it.
Of the
and-
rivalry developing between Naruto and Sasuke.
Well,
Yeah.
not just that. The fact that the ninja is about teamwork, because that also sets up a lot of Kakashi's like actual character.
See, I would actually spend a good decent amount of chunk of the runtime on the Zabuza arc.
Yeah.
I wouldn't spend like say it is a 3-hour movie or 2.5 or whatever. I would probably like the way I'd split it up is I'd do like 15-minute intro, 45-minute on Zabuza, dive straight into the Chunin exams after that.
Yeah.
And spend the rest of my time going through the Chunin exams up until the end of the preliminaries.
Right.
That's what my personal pace.
So your idea fits more with the idea of it being two films, one up to the first like certain point, like a good closing point, and then the rest like the major shit that goes down.
Yeah. So, because it's like if you get to the end of the preliminaries, well then everybody's gone out to train again. So everybody's kind of open and free. Going into the film 2, you can then go ahead and you can start that off any number of ways. You can start it off as people being on missions because people are going on missions, people training. You could do it a million different ways how you want to open it from there, and then you dive immediately into the actual shooting exam, closing round or whatever.
Yeah.
Do that. You also have the attack on the leaf. And then you have Sasuke recovery arc immediately after.
And then
there is also the Search for Tsunade arc.
Well, yeah. They could creatively skip that.
They really could. I think...
And scenes how I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about right now.
The episodes where Jiraiya and Naruto leave to go find Tsunade to take over for...
Really need that.
You don't.
The way you get around that is you have Jiraiya do it by himself while Naruto's chasing after Sasuke.
Yeah.
Well, that's also where Naruto learned the Rasengan.
That is true.
Yeah, but you can teach it to him anytime, really.
Right.
Like once again, that can be a very quick thing where it's instead of like
that also sets up the stuff with Itachi and Sasuke.
That's also fine though, because like the thing is like this is how you would do this in my mind. So now we're skipping to the second movie, but like so. Jiraiya is sent to go find, like, the second the leaf starts getting attacked or whatever, it's like he is sent away by Kakashi. He's just like, go find Tsunade. We'll need Tsunade. We'll need a talented healer after all this or whatever the fuck. So he heads off. He finds Tsunade. You bring her back to the leaf. Then when she takes over as Hokage, her first interaction with Naruto's like, who's this old fucking bag? Fuck her. Blah, 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 right? Well, her first interactions is being back in the leaf. I wouldn't necessarily say she's Hokage immediately, but he's just like, who the fuck's this old bag? Blah, 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 blah. And then they have their little back and forth where she's just like, you don't know shit, you little bitch. And he's just like, fuck you, bitch. They have their little back and forth. And then she's like, I bet you can't do the fucking Rasengan. And he's like, bullshit, old man, teach me the Rasengan. And Jiraiya is just like, oh man, I had other shit to do.
And then post credit, like during the credit scene, you get the like training montage. And then the post credit scene is him actually managing a Rasengan.
Yeah. That's how you could do it right there. So it could be like the story would close with them like going off or whatever, and them having a little back and forth. And Jiraiya's just like, he tells him like, something's coming. You'll have to be prepared for this. Blah 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 blah. Talking about like the Akatsuki later, because I'm assuming this would just be a series of films at this point. Yeah. Like he would be like, there's something coming, and when it does come, you have to be prepared for it. Blah blah blah. And then he keeps failing at the Rasengan, and he just keeps getting the shit kicked out of him. You know what I mean? And then he says that little speech there, and then it closes. And then the post credit scene is just like Naruto and like the Rasengan stance to a point, you know what I mean? Where he's like his feet are wide and he has like his hand on his like forearm and he's like he's got his hand clutched out. And opposed to actually seeing a Rasengan form or having like a shadow clone, it would be another like what we would assume would be a failed attempt. You'd just hear the wind, like the noise that it makes. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then you close. Boom.
I can dig that. Now here's the thing. Naruto is one of those things where unless they're doing a single standalone story and just fucking it all up, it's going to feel like they're going to need to make a shit ton of movies. Yeah. At least 2 for the first series and probably a good 3 or 4 for the second series. Unless they really condense and write some shit out.
Well, the thing is that the Akatsuki, if you foreshadow the Akatsuki throughout the first 2 movies, you can skip straight into Shippuden after those 2 movies. Yeah. Because once, like, instead of having Naruto and Jiraiya go train just for the Rasengan, that could be part of the 3 years of training when they're gone. Yeah. And then you don't need to really show Itachi or...
Well, shit, the problem is if we don't get the Rasengan, you don't get that dope-ass fight between Sasuke with his Chidori and Naruto right after the Chunin exams.
You would still... Yeah, that's fair, but that's not really a fight, though. They punch each other twice, and then they do their attacks at each other, and then Kakashi comes in and throws them in 2 different directions. It's not like an extensive thing. And you'd have to do it for the closing thing, yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't get the curse mark Sasuke.
All right,
versus
well
Naruto.
then have Jiraiya is the one training him in between the end of the preliminaries and the open of the second thing. Have him learn it there.
Fair enough.
Boom. Done, baby. So one actually closes with him with the Chidori, the Rasengan thing. There you go. Blow. I fixed it. Matt Kadri.
What I think
currency.
We were talking about 2 films. I think it probably would work better as 3 films, 3 long films, like a trilogy. Mainly because if we do 2 long films, that doesn't give a lot of room for character development, which there are a lot of characters in Naruto.
True.
And I
feel, though, if they're going to be making a series of live-action movies for Naruto, I really don't feel like they're going to be focusing too heavily on some of the supporting characters. You're probably not going to get a lot of that bonding and shit.
To be fair, a lot of the supporting characters I don't feel are necessary.
Well, yeah, not for the overall story. Like, the main ones you need are, like...
Well, even for, like, connection-wise, like... I don't know about you, but I don't really care about Choji.
Yeah.
I don't care about the Ino Sakura rivalry. I don't care about a lot of people. The people I care about are Naruto, Sasuke, Kakashi, Jiraiya, Shikamaru.
Well, the Ino Sakura rivalry can easily be done in about 5 minutes.
And then Hinata, that can be worked into dialogue throughout the rest of the thing of her being like, Naruto, let me get that dick.
Like, the only supporting characters that you really, really need to have any, like, FaceTime for are probably going to be, like, Hinata, Neji.
Shikamaru.
Jiraiya. Absolutely. I wouldn't call Jiraiya a supporting character. He's heavily important to the story.
Here's the thing about Jiraiya, though. Jiraiya is no liar!
Trying to think who else we would need.
I would say Shikamaru is probably the most important side character.
Out of the side characters, yeah.
He has the most, like...
Aside from
impact.
maybe him
Guy
and Hinata
Sensei.
are the most important.
Guy Sensei.
Ooh, Guy Sensei is kind of important, too. You would not be able to write Rock Lee out.
No. I wouldn't want to. Rock Lee's the best.
Would you just watch a Rock Lee
Guy.
live-action movie?
If they did it well...
Like standalone, just one off, just here's a movie,
If they did
nothing
it
but
well.
live-action Rock Lee just being badass.
See, that's why if they're doing a Hollywood remake, that's the reason I want to close on the preliminaries. Because you know the moment that got me into Naruto forever?
Rock Lee Gaara.
Was the Rock Lee Gaara fight, exactly. That's the moment that completely sold me, and I was like, I'm in on this forever.
See, I was reading the manga before the anime actually came out because I had a subscription to Shonen Jump for a long time when I was in high school, and that's where I was kind of introduced to Naruto. I didn't realize it was like a big thing. I was just like, it was kind of a neat little like action ninja story. The main reason I had Shonen Jump was mostly for shit like Rurouni Kenshin and just some of the other dumb shit that was there. I was reading the Yu-Gi-Oh manga for a bit.
I read Hikaru no Go
I read Hikaru no Go like crazy, yeah.
Ha! You've activated my trap card!
Pretty sure that didn't come up there. But there was a goddess in his head that was very hot. At least when I was in middle school when I was reading Hikaru no Go.
That was a dude.
That was a dude.
Yeah, it wasn't a goddess. It was a dude.
That dude was hot then, man.
That explains so much now.
Listen, we live in a post-Yuri on Ice world, all right?
Yeah.
It's all right. Either
No,
way.
I'm not judging. I have no fucks to give. I'm just saying that was actually a dude. I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was a girl.
No, it's
Could be
a-
wrong.
I could also be wrong, but let me just double check. Pretty confident it's a dude. I know for a fact his name started with an S of some sort.
So while you're looking that up,
Yeah.
I think a good way to go about it, as I was saying, 3 movies, would be to do the introductions, the Zabuza and Haku, and then probably end on the preliminaries before they enter the Forest of Death.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely was a dude because his name was Fujiwara no Sai, and I just remember him being called Sai.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it says his ghost appeared to blah 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 kid. Honenbo Shusaku, I guess is what his fucking name was. That was his...
Yeah, but I have a good feeling that you can get up to the point where they enter the Forest of Death out. Because at the end of the first movie. Then have the second movie focused on the Forest of Death all the way up to the third Hokage's funeral.
Right.
That will give a lot of good time, especially since Zabuza and Haku won't take all of a 2.5-hour movie.
No.
Including the beginning bit. You can get a lot of the good rivalries between Neji, Rock Lee,
Can I just
Sasuke
say one
out of the
thing
way.
that would have me super concerned about the Haku and Zabuza bit? The fucking crystal ice mirrors, it might look absolutely shit on live action. I get the feeling that wouldn't look good.
Unless they soar as the actors, that might also be a very creepy relationship.
The thing is,
'cause
unless
Haku's like 13.
unless this thing has
Zabuza's 27.
unless this thing has hella special effects budget, a lot of the shit's gonna look weird. Like, you know, it's not like other special effects where they're just kind of around. Like, these are special effects that are directly being held by people and then used on other people.
Yeah.
So, like, when you use
They're
a Rasengan,
integral to the story.
when you use a Rasengan,
Otherwise, it's not going to be Naruto. It's going to be fucking Oh God, what's that ninja game back on the PlayStations and Xbox?
Ninja Gaiden.
No.
Onimusha?
No, but we're getting close.
Um,
Tenchu. It'll just be fucking Tenchu if you take out all the ninjutsu.
So it's like a lot of
I have no idea what you're
the
talking about.
ninjutsu are gonna be weird. So like, because I've seen some Naruto fan stuff online,
Yeah.
and one of the things that annoys me is like everybody animates Rasengans as just like wind, which I understand that's like what it's supposed to be, but like it's just like clear wind. It just looks like somebody smudged the screen in this person's palm. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, you're gonna have to make it blue. You're gonna have to make it a blue ball that swirls to win me over.
Yeah.
Otherwise, fuck you.
Or at least make it look legit. It doesn't have to necessarily be blue, but you can't just use one of those fucking Photoshop tools and just smudge some shit. Yeah.
It's incredibly annoying to me. Like I want it to be a blue swirly ball. Give me my blue swirly ball.
I would be fine if it was gray or blue or whatever, as long as it's very like dense and violent looking.
And then the Chidori is going to be really expensive
yeah,
because you're going to have to light your entire scene with the character that's playing Sasuke, the person that's playing Sasuke.
it's gonna have to be flickering and shit.
Yeah, you're going to have to light that entire scene while he's moving rapidly. You know what I mean? You're going to have to fuck with the lighting constantly on him, on his movement, and then you're going to have to go into After Effects and add, like afterwards, you're going to have to go in and add all this electricity flying around him. Then you have to add in the actual sound effects of the.
Yeah. I don't think the Foley is going to be quite as expensive of an issue as like the actual CG of the Chidori, because the Foley ultimately it's going to be a little bit expensive to create the sound, but it's going to be a
No,
one-time
I'm just saying,
thing.
like, just for one Chidori, like I'm saying, it's going to be expensive all around. So I feel like they'd probably be as sparing as they could with certain ninjutsus. Like Shikamaru's ninjutsu is going to be easy as fuck.
Yeah, just a fucking dark line on the
just
ground.
make dark shadows. Boom, you're good. So like, and then like all the
that is frame by frame Photoshop is all that is.
Ino's is going to be super easy because literally all she goes is she's like, huh, or whatever. She does her fucking thing, and then
Choji's going to look stupid no matter what.
Then you just
do.
have the person lay down, and then like you do a voiceover of like the internal monologue of the other person as
Yeah. Choji's going to look stupid no matter what you do because it looks stupid in the anime. Yeah.
So. But yeah, so like certain things are just gonna
Until you get to Choji's like fucking curry ball butterfly mode.
know who's gonna
that looked fucking dope.
You know who's gonna be super expensive? Gara. That's actually
man, that's gonna be their entire budget. They're gonna have to split this shit up.
Yeah, Gara would be really expensive.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking that maybe 3 movie, even a 4 movie model.
See, the thing is
Splitting
that
up the tuning exams into 2.
I don't feel like
Arcs.
there's enough
I
for
feel
a
like,
mainstream audience.
I feel
for
like
4.
Rock Lee, not for the majority of the fights, but for when he goes into the fucking gates, that might get a little expensive too because they're gonna have to have that like fucking aura around him.
Well, the other thing is that they're going to have to do a lot of weird rigs for the fight too, because it's going to be a lot of weird stunt rigs because half the fight Gara is in the air while Rock Lee is pummeling him.
The more we talk about these special effects, the worse I'm starting to feel about this movie.
But like just story wise, I feel because if this is going for a Western audience that doesn't like manga, is like your standard Joe Schmo Western dude, then you're going to have enough action and excitement in each individual movie. Now, 2 does feel a bit rushed. 2 movies does.
Yeah.
3 movies, I could see
2,
them.
you could manage it if you did it intelligently.
Yeah.
It's still going to feel rushed as hell, but you're going to be able to tell the story.
Yeah. 3, you'd be able to get a little bit more character development. The problem is I'm not sure how I'd split up 3 movies because the big...
Here's the thing. If they're going all in, though, Naruto was such, like, a large enough, like, cultural phenomenon, though, I feel like they'll still be able to cash in on enough of the box office fame for it to actually manage multiple movies.
I mean, it's possible, but it's also might not be.
I know...
It all depends on who's making it. Because the thing is, if you give this thing $100 million budget, let's say, so $100 million, I don't think you could honestly make a good Naruto movie for less than $100 million.
Probably not.
Not in like an actual Hollywood climate where you have to pay people specific amounts and there's unions and shit like that. So,
but the thing I feel like is like I know people who don't know dick about anime, but they still will recognize the name Naruto.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, it's that fucking fighting cartoon thing that all the kids are watching with the people with headbands and shit. Like
It's 2009.
Yeah.
Oh, it's that damn cartoon all the kids are watching.
yeah.
But yeah, so like I feel $100 million budget, and then usually it's double that for advertising. So for this thing to even be profitable, it'd probably have to make $200 million, which I'd say it could probably make $200 million. But the thing is that if they don't make a large quantity of money back, like as profit, they won't make a second one. Exactly. So this thing would probably, I would say, to be considered successful and to get a second one, this thing would have to clear like $400 million.
Yeah.
Which is you're gonna have to appeal to the mainstream.
You're going to have to appeal to the mainstream, but you're going to have to be faithful to like the source.
The other thing is I would age the kids up.
Yeah.
I'd make them more like, I guess, kind of like early high school age.
Like 13, 14 as opposed to like 10,
Well, that's
11.
that's the age they are.
Well, I was meaning more like I would make them like 16 and then ship it, and I'd make them more like 20. That's what I would do.
Yeah, Naruto's 13 when it starts off, because then there's the 2-year time skip and he comes back when he's 16.
Because the thing is,
well, I know Shippuden finished out on his 18th birthday. Like,
yeah.
A lot of it's like interpersonal drama. A lot of Naruto is like interpersonal drama of people. And the thing is like, you want to capture that adolescence, because adolescence, with all like the friendship motifs and stuff like that, that's the key demographic there is in the adolescence. So you still want to go into your teens. You don't want to age them up too much. The thing is that I feel 13 is too young. I feel like this movie would get destroyed by moms and this and that and the other thing for hyper violence of 13-year-olds. You know what I mean? Because how old was fucking Katniss in the Hunger Games in the actual movie? Jennifer Lawrence was like 23 or something like that, the actress.
Something like that,
yeah, so it's like, I don't think you can take actual 13-year-old kids and have them beating the shit out of each other in these very brutal, very violent, murdery ways and not get some shit in today's
I know
modern
it
climate.
was like even in the Hunger Games movies, her character was still not 18 yet, because 18 was the cutoff point for being able to be picked for the Hunger Games.
Yeah. So let's just I'm thinking 16 is a good age for that. And then you still have the relative. They're still teenagers, so you still get the teen drama aspect of like, I like this girl, why I like this girl, well, fuck you, blah, 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 and that whole thing. And then the girls swooning over all the boys and blah, blah, all that kind of shit. You can still fit that kind of stuff in and still fits. But
I feel one of the most important things are going to be their intelligent use of the special effects and pacing, though.
Yeah, I feel like pacing what it's all going to be about, really.
Yeah.
Because the thing is like anybody can say whatever they want about Naruto. It's a great story. At the end of the day.
See, here's the thing. Avatar: The Last Airbender was also a great story, but we saw what happens when you ignore things like intelligent use of the special effects required to make the fucking thing.
Yeah. The other thing is that they'd have to be really faithful, I feel. Like you can't just skip over certain things. I feel like certain things aren't as important. You can skip over them, but certain things you can't not do. Like you can't not do the Chunin exams. You can't not do the Zabuza thing. You can't not do you
can't skip the things that have major like psychological impact on the character.
Honestly, I'd say fuck all the Iruka shit. Get all the Iruka shit out of there. Maybe use it for exposition, but use that time instead to do the training sequence with Team 7 for the first time. With them. I mean,
you could basically just jump straight to the movie opens and they're like waiting in the room for Kakashi, and you just get a little bit of that fucking like rivalry dialogue between Sasuke and Naruto. And then, like, it introduces Kakashi, and that's a pretty decent way to.
That would be a good way to open it, and especially since after the training session, he goes to have ramen with Iruka anyway.
Yeah,
you can set that up immediately after the training session.
See, I would go ahead if you're going to do that. I would go ahead and throw in like a informative voiceover at the beginning. Like they say that's like a cardinal sin of screenwriting is to do voiceover at the beginning of your movie, but fucking eat it.
It is, but sometimes it's
necessary. It works. People can say whatever they want.
I think we should have Star Wars.
Blade Runner is one of the most seminal films, sci-fi films of all time. The original version, not the director's cut, but the original like theatrical release of it, had voiceover from Harrison Ford for majority of the film.
Well, my thought of that is just like something works, it works. works, like I don't feel like there shouldn't be rules to writing something.
Yeah.
Like if something works, if something is your idea,
I get where they consider it like a cardinal sin because it is kind of a cheap way to get around something. But if you're writing something well enough, I think it can serve its point. You just shouldn't rely on it.
My thing is like everything has exposition dumps, so I'd rather just start that, get that out of the way, so it's not.
I'd rather have a voiceover explaining shit at the beginning than have just a fucking brick of text.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you get at the beginning of some like movies and shit. Fucking
Star Wars.
hate that. Yeah, I hate that fucking the crawl. I hate
I
it.
love the crawl. Though.
You didn't like my suggestion? Let's just do a Star Wars style crawl.
No.
But no, like I don't mind a massive exposition dump at the beginning of the movie because that's just setting the pace in my mind. That's just telling you like this is stuff you need to know. After this 4 minutes of talk, well then you can dive into the movie and you can actually we don't have to explain shit. You'll get everything. You know, things will actually start moving, opposed to having to have scenes that are solely for exposition.
Can I just say one thing that I would really be a turnoff for me if they fuck up Naruto's voice?
I mean,
because Naruto's voice, I've gotten so used to it because I've been such a hardcore Naruto fan for so long.
Yeah, it's going to.
If
be
it's not
voice.
at least reasonably similar, I'm going to hate it.
That's the thing is that Hollywood won't care about who what the voice sounds like. They'll care about what the kid looks like.
Yeah.
That's what they'll be focused on. Is like, does this kid look Naruto-y?
I'd be okay if they would fucking hire a kid that looks like Naruto and then hire a voice actor who can just.
And that becomes even more expensive.
It does become more expensive, but.
And that's the thing is like that.
Naruto has a distinct sound too.
That won't really bother me. It's more of like they have to get the fights, like even the story, like they have to get that right and they have to get the fights right. In my mind, like those are the two key aspects of any of these kind of anime. It's just like. Here's your story. Here's your dope fight scenes. Here's your story. Here's your dope fight scene. Those two things go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And I feel like you
Here's
can't.
your story during a dope fight scene.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is like, unless they get a massive contract for a massive amount of movies based off the first movie, it's going to be very difficult for a long-term Naruto cinematic universe. Because the thing is like Naruto is so long. Because this is just Naruto 1. Think of how many movies would have to go into Shippuden.
Not that many more, honestly, because think about it like this way. Shippuden, all told, is what, like 496 episodes? About 240 of those are filler.
Yeah, but I would say about most of Naruto is filler. The only arcs in Naruto that really matter
The last 100 episodes are almost entirely all filler.
Exactly.
There's only actually 4 episodes of filler before that.
The only see, you say that, but I think a lot of shit would be considered filler.
There's a lot of
shit you
padding.
don't
I wouldn't say that there's necessarily a lot of
But
filler prior to that.
In Shippuden, there's so much shit you need if you're going to do the story right. Because like the Ninja War, Great Ninja War, Fourth Great Ninja War, that's an entire movie.
Yeah.
That's a 3-hour long movie by itself.
Yeah.
And that's not including all the preamble and all the post shit. Like you gotta do that and do just that. Like that's a movie. And then you have the Akatsuki stuff.
Yeah.
I would say that's a movie by itself too. Just them hunting down the Akatsuki. Like that's it. You know what I mean?
I feel the Fourth Great Ninja War would probably be 2 movies. They would start to the point of the
I feel like
of the Kage Summit.
narratively speaking, all of that's important. I don't think it necessarily all has to be shown.
Dude, I would say you have to show all of it because especially if you've gotten this far,
Because there's a lot of that shit where you're just dealing with just constant fights against fucking white Zetsu clones.
But that's the thing is like, I would do it more based around like the actual fights against. The
I would
resurrected
skip
people.
all the stuff that wasn't just the big important fights.
See,
And just have the rest of it be kind of little like snippets here and there.
yeah, you'd have to still show everybody. But my thing is like, you would have to make that feel as big as it was. Because in the show, the reason that arc is so good is because we've been going towards this like a train
Since the episode,
nonstop.
the first episode of
Since the
fucking
first
Naruto.
episode of Naruto, you know what I mean? And it has this massive, grandiose implications and stuff like that. And that's what makes that arc feel so special to me, at least, is because it's super earned and they do it well. So
It
it's
is
one of those things
100%
where
payoff.
So it's one of those things that if you do, let's say, 3 normal Naruto movies, then you've done 2 Shippuden Naruto movies, and now you're going into this Ninja War. Yeah, you're gonna have to hit this thing hard and spend 2.5 hours on it because it's just like you've done 5 movies extensively just leading to this.
No, I could say
There's a lot of the Ninja War stuff that is kind of padding and that they can easily take out. But there's certain, like, a lot of key events that you just can't skip.
See, even the Akatsuki stuff, I would say you'd probably have to split that into 2 movies. Because you have, like, I would say, like, your first movie would probably be everything leading to Itachi's death.
No, I would say the first movie would be all the way up to Azuma's death.
Yeah, Hidan and Kakuzu, really.
Isn't
Because that's a good ways in.
that early? Earlier than Itachi?
It
is earlier than Itachi, but that is a good cutoff point. You have
that would make it very difficult though, because that means that this is going to have to be
in one movie.
That's going to have to be another movie though, but it doesn't really, because what arcs do you have to put in to a Shippuden movie is the question. This is another discussion for another time, but I feel like a Shippuden movie, all you really need to do is you can dive straight into the Akatsuki.
Well, the main thing that we start out with is we get the Gaara arc at the beginning.
So you dive, which is Akatsuki, like dive straight
which
into that.
Which leads directly into Naruto versus Orochimaru.
So you go Datara, so you do the Datara.
Datara Sasori.
And Datara Sasori.
Just have an entire Sakura movie is what you're going to have there, basically.
Those two I'd feel...
Because you can't do Sakura versus Sasori in 5 minutes and be okay.
No, but you can speed it up. That was one of the most draggy fucking times in all of Shippuden in my mind. It's because it was 48 goddamn episodes of this bitch just fucking, I'm going to use you as a puppet. Just like, just tell me if Gaara's dead or not. That's why I'm here.
That actually only took 8 episodes?
Yeah, but it felt so much longer.
Yeah, by the 50th episode, they were done with Orochimaru.
Yeah.
And they were on filler.
But yeah, I'd say you can knock out those groups all together, because the thing is, you have to remember, this is going to be a Hollywood movie. This isn't going to be a Dream Team movie. This has to be a Hollywood movie. It has to reach people. So you're going to have literal fuck tons of action all crammed into itself. So most of these
If
arcs
M. Night
of the
Shyamalan
Akatsuki,
touches this film, I will kill him.
most of these Akatsuki fights, I'm imagining, are going to have to happen kind of simultaneously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you're going to probably want to start the the guy with the blades.
Asuma Sensei.
Asuma. You're going to probably want to start that Asuma arc while Naruto and all those guys are fucking with
Datara and
Sasori. You're probably going to want to go ahead and just while that's going on, also have,
You're just cutting from one fight to another and then
back. Them going and
that
doing...
That wouldn't make much sense.
But it would, because who is at the original fight where he gets killed by Hidan that needs to be there? That wouldn't be accessible. Because really the only people you need for that fight...
Shikamaru, Asuma Sensei, and Ino.
There you go.
But still, during that time, there's still Naruto versus Orochimaru. Then Naruto has to learn the giant Rasengan.
But the thing is, you can cut that in later.
Yeah. It doesn't have to happen in necessarily the same order, as long as we're not skipping something where the part would have to, that specific detail would have to play a part in it. So...
I feel not starting it during Datara and Sasori. I feel that starting it during Naruto versus Orochimaru would be very much more beneficial.
Yeah, you could start it there.
But I don't even remember this fight. What fight is this?
This is the one where they go after Sasuke after getting the intel from Sasori. They go to meet Orochimaru on the Tenchi Bridge.
Yeah. It's the one where he
goes Four Tails.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I got that. You don't really need this fight. You really don't. Honestly, you don't.
In all honesty.
It's a cool fight, but you don't really need it.
Trying to think, narratively speaking, is the only thing that's really there that's of any, narrative importance is the whole Kabuto being a double agent kind of thing, but you can work that in elsewise.
Exactly. This isn't, a necessary fight. It's a cool fight, but it's not necessary. The only thing it really demonstrates is how dangerous the Four Tails is, the shroud of the Nine-Tails Fox. But you can do that a million other ways. You could just have the scene where Jiraiya takes his shirt off and there's the massive gash, because that was enough for me.
Well, that part also instilled a small bit of fear in Sakura, just how dangerous is it for me to be around Naruto.
So I'd say narratively speaking, you don't need that fight.
Well, you also have to.
You could work around it.
You
You'd
could work
have to
around
work
that.
around it intelligently, but you could work around it.
And then when it comes to learning the giant Rasengan, since we figured out how to give him the Rasengan at the end of the first Naruto movie, well then when they leave for 3 years, he could have learned the giant Rasengan there. Because one of my main problems with Naruto Shippuden in the beginning is he doesn't seem to have learned jack shit since on the 3 years. Like, over the course of like 6 months of Naruto Shippuden, he learns 4 million times more shit than he learned in the 3 years in the woods with Jiraiya.
I think majority of the 3 years in the woods with Jiraiya was less about training him as a ninja, more about training him to be technically better.
I feel like it was more just them spying on women.
Well, no, when you think about it, Naruto before that was still impulsive, arrogant, shitty, obnoxious, and all that. And he would just spam fucking shadow clones and everything. And then after he comes back, he thinks a little more intelligently.
And
He's
then he
grown up.
Rasengans.
He spams Rasengans, but he uses he actually more tactically uses the shadow clones and things like that. To counter his own weaknesses.
If we're going to have him do a learning montage or something like that, in
I don't
this
feel
movie,
we need a montage
or something like that. If there's like a thing where he needs to learn something, he needs to learn the wind style Rasen wind shuriken or whatever the fuck. Which you can also do that because it's like, okay, so Datara and Sasori, they do those fights or whatever. They come back, they hear that, Asuma's been killed or whatever. Shikamaru starts putting together his plan. Then you have Naruto learning that or whatever. Then you have, the whole thing where, they go to fight those guys or whatever. And everybody's trying to fuck up Kakazu. And everybody's getting their ass beat. And then Naruto comes in and puts in work.
Yeah, because that would be something that's super important. Is him
because
actually
you need
learning
that for the pain fight. You need that for the Ninja War. You need
it's also the only way they're able to beat Kakazu, anyways.
Yeah. So what I would say is that we make the first Shippuden movie would be all the way up to Asuma's death.
Well, hold on. He clearly had to have learned the Rasen Wind Shuriken while he was training with Jiraiya.
No,
he learns it through the Shadow Clone method with Yama, whatever the fuck.
Yamato, he does. Yamato. Shit, you're right.
Yeah, that happens all during that initial what they're doing.
But that's the thing, is like timing wise, that still works because then you have Shikamaru coming back and figuring out his plan.
No, it wasn't until after he used it on Kakazu that they were like, you probably shouldn't just spam the fuck out of this because that's hurting you as bad as it's hurting them.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just not getting hit directly with it.
So like my first movie would be...
I had that backwards for some reason. In my head, I was thinking like he knew that he probably shouldn't use this because like he learned that from Jiraiya. Like I'm just backwards.
My opening for the first movie would be... this is my writer nerd and video nerd coming out, would be shots of people walking, groups of two walking. It'd be two different groups of two, and they'd be shadowed.
Not Itachi, yeah.
Yeah, and it would be shadowed or whatever, and they'd just be these groups of two walking, and then it would be Jiraiya and Naruto showing up in the leaf the same time that Datara and Sasori arrive in the sand.
Right.
Then he'd go through all the introductions or whatever while the Gaara fight's happening, and you'd see the Gaara fight because that fight's dope. And then from there, they'd get the information. And I'm not saying these two things would be happening simultaneously. They'd be happening simultaneously on screen, but there would obviously be a pacing thing where the Sasori fight's happening before the Naruto fight.
Right.
So Naruto arriving. So you'd skip over him like doing the sparring with
Yamato.
No, Kakashi.
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever that they do. They'd go directly into them getting a message from the sand.
Right.
They'd leave. They'd go. They'd fuck up Hidan and Sasori. When the Sasori and Hidan fight start or whatever, the Sasori fight starts, then I'd go ahead and have like, there's a strange report or whatever coming in from, wherever the fuck. It doesn't really matter. And then that's when...
the Hidan Kakazu shit takes off.
The Hidan Kakazu shit starts. And that would actually have kind of a symmetry to it as well if you brought back Gaara right around the same time that
Kakazu's dying.
Kakazu kills Hidan kills who's his face.
Awesome.
I have a really hard time remembering his name because I don't fucking like him. So like that would be like my balance there is like, so he would get killed right when Gaara came back to life, and that would be a good duality almost there of Gaara in this lush field being surrounded by people cheering him on. And blah, blah,
honestly,
blah, blah.
I think you would end with Gaara coming back because it ends the movie on a high note.
See, I don't feel like that's enough content though. That's my whole thing is like I would just say that this would just be a mid part or whatever, would be those two trading off extensively, that duality there, and then everybody would group back up and leave. If anything, I would cut with the Hidan Kakuzu battle.
Actually, I would do one.
I definitely know an arc that we could just forego. It can be like mentioned later, but it isn't necessarily, I feel, visually important to see it because I skipped a lot of it and was still able to thoroughly grasp what the story was that happened, and that's the Tailed Beast arcs.
Yeah, I mean,
those are all filler.
Are they?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, to an extent.
Well, they're all canon fillers. The problem.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is they're filler to an extent. You get a decent amount out of it because like.
It's all filler, but it's all shit that actually took place.
What I say that the first movie should end on, before we go any further, going a step further between Hidan and Kakuzu is have Sasuke kill Orochimaru.
Early?
Like, do that, and then start the second movie with, like, the Taka, setting up Taka and Itachi, and focus that movie on going all throughout.
Yeah, because if you take out a lot of the Orochimaru focus, you're able to like streamline a little bit of the story arc too. I feel.
Yeah, well, you do that and then go further and have the second movie focus on Sasuke going after Itachi, and then you can also focus on the Jiraiya part, which can set up nicely into a third movie, which would be crushing the absolute crush of the Hidden Leaf with Naruto, Pain, going all into that.
See, I'd even go faster than
finishing this 5 Kage Summit.
I would do most of the Akatsuki arc and setting up Pain and blah, 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 blah. Then two.
So you're wanting basically the first movie to be nothing but the Akatsuki fights?
Pretty much.
So it's just going to be nothing but action sequences until the end?
Action sequences and character development for the second movie, which would be Itachi. That's what Sasuke would be doing.
Listen, you can't rush the Itachi part because you can't lose that.
We would have
impact.
4 to 5 movies up at this point. Yeah. This isn't rushing. Like this isn't. There's never going to be 10 Naruto movies in a row. Like we got to get this thing wrapped up, and I would say at most 6 movies. So so first thing is just Akatsuki and like building up the relationships between specific characters. So Jiraiya's death, the Pain fight, and the Itachi fight are all in movie 2.
I think. Oh shit!
Tell me that wouldn't be the greatest movie though.
I don't know how I'd prefer it to end though, with the Itachi death or with the Nagato restoring everybody, because I feel like that's a better climax. Not really climax, because climax is the battle, but
well, the thing is, you could do them both at the same time.
Well, I mean, on screen, which would take place first. I feel like the Sasuke Itachi one would be less important overall. It'd be better to end on the Nagato using the fucking ghetto statue to basically res everybody.
No. But, like, so do that or whatever for the second one, and then the third one would just be Great Ninja War stuff. Because the thing is, say what you will about Naruto, a lot of, like, the main continuity shit is just kind of filler. Like, that you don't need, really. Like, if you're doing the Ninja War, there's a lot of shit you don't necessarily need in it. You know what I mean? You don't need all these fights with the White Zetsu. I would say, like I said before, focus mainly on the actual name.
They're happening in the background. You're focusing on the like big important shit happening here. You can see the White Zetsu in the background. The battles are happening.
The best person to direct this would be Peter Jackson, by the way, for the fights for that movie. Because have you seen Battle of the Five Armies?
No.
It focuses on so much.
So like, do those fights or whatever. Naruto's like running from one thing to another battlefield or whatever, wrapping shit up. And then if you wanted to do another movie, you could close with Madara and Obito on the Geto statue.
Oh, dude, that'd be dope.
As like the world's about to end, quote
unquote. You do realize,
you know?
As soon as we're done with this, I'm going to go watch
Naruto?
I plan on trying to rewatch all of it before the end of the year.
So, like, it's just one of those things where Naruto is such a rich thing that you're never going to get a fully adapted thing. So you really need to break down what absolutely needs to be done. Because I would say absolute most you'd get 6 movies. And that's if they are fucking massive. And then the last 2, they just want to do.
I think we're likely to get 1 to 2 movies covering all of the first series.
Yeah.
That would probably test the water. If they do well, I could foresee us getting the Shippuden stuff.
Well, that's my thing too. Is like
I genuinely think the first movie is going to be to test the water.
I feel like the first series could just do 1 and 2. Like the first series could be just 2 movies because it's just like the only arcs that you absolutely need are Zabuza,
Chunin exam.
which Zabuza you don't need to make that super long. That can be much more fast paced.
Yeah.
And still have good payoff. And
that could be 20, 30 minutes.
And then going to the Chunin exams, those two.
You could, if you took a little of the focus off Orochimaru, skip the Force of Death a little bit.
Assault on the Leaf. Well, it's just like let's just assume
maybe not
the Chunin
skip
exams
it, but like
let's just do the Chunin exams as a whole,
and then just gloss over it because Sasuke does have to get that curse mark.
The assault,
but he could get it a different way. So.
Assault on the Leaf, and then Sasuke recovery arc, and then like I said, if you work in Jiraiya getting Tsunade during that time, then from there all you need is for Naruto and Jiraiya to head off into the fucking woods.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like all those arcs, all the other arcs I feel are really irrelevant. The Zabuza arc can be done pretty quickly. Chunin exams, you go into the prelims until you get to the end round because the end round is when the Assault on the Leaf happens.
Yep.
Boom, that's one movie. Second movie, Assault on the Leaf. Immediately after that, they go to retrieve Sasuke. There's the big fight between Sasuke and Naruto, and you close on Naruto being there, Sasuke leaving. Or whatever, and that's your end of Naruto or whatever. No, actually, you couldn't.
Honestly,
I
think
to end on them going to the woods for 3 years.
Honestly, I kind of like the idea of having one of the movies finish on like the credits are rolling while the curse mark Sasuke and Naruto fight's happening, and you're just getting like all the first like half of the credits during that fight, and then you just get the Naruto laying in the water scene as the post credits. I think that'd be a really cool way to
You could put in a
film.
little bit of dialogue before that, being like whenever from Jiraiya being like, when he gets back, we're leaving. We have to prep for the thing that I've been foreshadowing this entire time.
Yeah.
Then like Shippuden, the only arcs I feel that are completely necessary is Akatsuki. Do the Akatsuki arc. You got to do the Ninja War arc.
And then the Madara.
And then the Madara arc. Those are the 3 big ones that you got to hit on. So boom, boom, boom. You got to knock them motherfuckers out as quick as you can. And if you're doing a 6-story arc, then that works because you can do Akatsuki, Great Ninja War, Madara. Boom.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, you're going to need to wrap this up.
What's the time that we're at? Shit, we've talked for
52 minutes.
51 minutes.
Jesus Christ. All right. Well, guys, we're going to wrap it here. This has been Brotakus. We're part of the Loud Table Productions Podcast Network. We produce content every fucking day. Well, not every fucking day, but 5 days a week, typically.
We do a lot of stuff.
We're constantly just churning out content here. We do podcasts on just general bullshit, Game of Thrones, fucking Mom's Friendly Robot podcast, all sorts of shit. If you have any ideas that you want for future content, hit us up, loudtableproductions@gmail.com. You can follow us on social media. We have Twitter, at Loud Table Productions.
Loud Table Prod.
Loud Table Prod, yeah, that's right. It's Loud Table _ Productions for Instagram. We have a subreddit. We're on iTunes. We actually have a YouTube channel now, so hit us up there. Share us. Share us with all your friends. Share us like a venereal disease.
Gross.
Please don't share us like a venereal disease.
I don't share my.
Do not share VD, people. Do not share VD.
That makes life difficult for
I
everyone.
only share my venereal diseases with my enemies.
Ugh.
It's better than sharing them with your friends.
This is true. It is better than sharing them with your friends.
Just like, man, I really like this person. They're one of my best friends. I'm gonna fucking give them AIDS.
You can actually follow us all individually on social media. I am at Chris_Belgard on Twitter.
I am at Gadryross. That's GADRYROSS.
I have a Twitter somewhere, and I'm still following Yuri on Instagram.
He's at Negiment Addict, by the way.
Yes.
Negiment Addict.
I don't know if that's my Twitter handle.
It probably is.
I had like 3 different Twitters, so it might be one of them that I don't actually use.
His Twitter is Chrisio69.
Yeah.
Or Big Dick Daddy 69, either one.
Either one. Fuck it.
That is true.
But remember, people, just keep sharing and downloading, subscribe, whatever. Show us all the support you can.
Just real quick, do you guys remember like IMs like AOL or Hotmail IMs
Fucking
and shit like
AIM.
that. Everybody was just named like Big Dick Daddy 69 or some crazy shit like that.
None
like,
of the people I knew were named that.
Dude, that's a thing that me and my friend Ronnie have talked about a million times. Is like when you go, like, you know, people would go into chat rooms. I was too young to do chat rooms, but people would like go into chat rooms or whatever and start like hollering at each other. And like you go into those chat rooms, which were all just like just people trying to flirt or whatever, and people are all named like Big Dick Daddy 69 and blah blah blah. Yeah,
I didn't do a lot of chat rooms. I did more like private instant messaging with like a group of friends and shit.
My thing is, by the time like I was old enough to fuck with shit, I already had like cell phone that text on. Like,
yeah. It was a different time.
It was a different time.
Yeah, show us all the support you can, people, because just remember, the more you support, the more likely it is that one day Senpai will finally notice us.
Yes.
I'm so fucking money. What is the money in Naruto called? Is it yen?
Rio?
Rio?
Yes.
It is Rio.
I'm so fucking Rio.
Peace.
Kusna!
Notice me, senpai.